Welcome to UTB Blogcast number 14. We'll try and do this one all in one sitting this time.
Yeah, it's 14, and you'll like it.
Yeah. Let's see. Brad's here. We've got Dave here. We have James here. And we have Bartron in his specs.
Yo!
Big news today. I don't know if we want to say good news. I don't know if we want to say bad news. It has been an emotional roller coaster of a day.
Yep. I'm going to say that any news is good news. Being a BlackBerry fan myself, I'm going to say that any news is good news. We can talk about the numbers and things later, but as far as I'm concerned, we all got introduced to the fact that we all knew was going to be a fact, and that was an Android handset. I have trepidations. I know that so many of the BlackBerry 10 faithful have trepidations, but my humble opinion is that this very high-end handset is going to come out, and it's going to address an absolute pile of concerns for BlackBerry. And as a BlackBerry fan, I'm looking forward to that. My little issue is that BlackBerry 10 continues, and we all heard that 10.3.3 is going to come out and continue early in the next year. So I'm kind of looking forward to things. I'm feeling good about things. I think Chen has his stuff together. And that's my knee-jerk initial reaction to it. Next.
Yeah, you know what? As far as the numbers go, we're headed in the right direction, even if we're not where we want to be. It seems like Chen's plans, as far as the numbers go, are coming together. But let's just make this easy on us and say, personally, there's one thing that's going through the community right now, and that's the devices, and that's what people are thinking is going on. That's what we're all talking about, and as a BlackBerry fan site, we're fans of the devices. It's like, hey, it's great that we have all these other things going on, and we'll talk about them, and we'll promote them, and we'll like it, but I think all of us, our main concern is devices, right?
No.
No?
Well, for me, Brad, yes and no. Yes, because I am a consumer. I'm not an IT manager, so my concern is that I'll always be able to use BlackBerry. I want to say BlackBerry 10, but that's probably not the way I should couch it right now. I should probably say use the BlackBerry brand for my communications and productivity needs, etc.
Yeah, but that's because you have enough devices to last you a lifetime.
And they change multiple times daily.
Hey, wait. That's not fair, because Robert has a whole crap load of passports somewhere stored away in some mountain, in Iron Mountain somewhere in Puerto Rico.
And the fancy ones too. He's got the limited edition and the silver edition, and
I know, but James, he doesn't change them every freaking day like underwear. Dude, really?
I tried to use my Q10 today, but I could not get my BlackBerry Messenger to sync with my Q10, so I had to abort and go back to my classic. So I win either way. That's what I'm saying.
Well, and in all honesty, with some of the conversation that was going on in our group today, it probably would have been a good thing to not let your BBM sink.
Yeah, I stayed away from that. I seem to be one of the few who was actually quite positive about this, because so many people, we all heard as soon as we heard BlackBerry's going to release an Android, I'm talking to the rumors, once they came out, everyone assumed right away they're dropping BlackBerry 10 and it's over. And, to those people, we heard today, even in the press release, they said very clearly, we're sticking with BB10. And Chen said we need it for regulated industries and governments. And there's no way in the world they're going to develop BB10 for governments and industry and refuse a consumer who wants to buy it. If I want to buy it, they're not going to turn me down. Chen said that when the passport came out, it says, we don't consider this a mass market device, but we're willing to sell it to anybody who wants it. So I'm not worried.
I agree with you. Bartron and we all heard that Chen was saying that, let's face it, we're all on 10.3.2 right now, and he stated quite emphatically what we all heard in rumors previously, those of us that heard, that 10.3.3 was coming, and it's coming in the new year, relatively early.
March.
Yeah. And, I get that. I totally get that. And what features and services that comes with, that is what's interesting to me. And I get that they can float these two operating systems and offerings for X amount of time, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens with those two offerings in a similar stream. What can you do with that?
Yeah,
guys, I think we need to accept. I feel like I may not be as big a BlackBerry fan as UTB Brad over there.
You're fired.
I didn't start a website and fight the trolls for years, and then start a website, which, by the way, I respect and applaud. But we need to accept that BB10 is on the chopping block, and that I feel I'm trying to read into what Chen says. Okay, he's a very cagey man. He's very intelligent. He's very sharp. He manages these earnings calls well. He manages the street well. He knows what he's doing. I can't think of someone I would rather have personally. Not that I'm someone who would have a list of people anyway. But the point is, he knows what he's doing. But he said a couple things to me. One thing he said was about in one of the questions in the earnings call today, they said something about BB10, and he said in terms of enterprise, and he said, well, we would migrate, or I don't know what the verbiage was he used. He's always got the broken English going. But what it said to me was, essentially we're focused on Android, and we can secure it, and if our customers will accept that Android is secure, we will migrate them to Android or replace them with other customers as the Android platform grows. That's what I heard. And then the other thing I heard was in an interview afterwards with Emily Chang from Bloomberg West that he said something similar about how, I pledged continued support of BB10, and we have a new release coming in March of 16. But the way he worded it said to me that, if everyone drops BB10, and I go and I can secure Android, that's what I'm going to do. So I just feel like we ought to be realistic. That we may be working with an Android operating system with a lot of the BB10 features going forward. And I feel like personally, that Chen is our guy, that BlackBerry is our brand, and that whatever they produce, whatever they provide to the marketplace will be secure and productive and efficient. The things that we I mean, I just think we need to take a step back from and look at what we actually want from BlackBerry as a brand, and consider that even if it's not BB10, it's still going to be embedded in whatever operating system they are.
You mean instead of being a blind fanboy?
You know what? Let me get up on my soapbox for a minute here, because
I want a Brad soapbox, and I want it right now.
Nobody really wants to hear me talk, but I've been a BlackBerry fan for a long time, and I was a BBO.
How long? Like, what time is it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and try and add up my phones this time.
Okay.
But been a BlackBerry fan forever, say, and I was a BBOS fan, and jumping over to a BB10, I am a huge BB10 fan, and if BB10 were to go away, I would not be happy about it at the least bit, because the jump from BBOS to BB10 was huge. It was a huge step up, and I'm sorry, I completely understand the reason for putting out an Android. I understand the business reason for it, but going from BB10 to BlackBerry Android, it truly will be a step back. However, I'm seeing people in our community, people that I've respected, but before we started this podcast, I was sent a link to something somebody wrote, somebody that's been in the community longer than me, in great standing, somebody that I've respected for years now and only met recently, through BBM, and penning his goodbye, and you can tell it's an emotional response. He's upset. I get that. I understand that, but we've been through a lot. The BlackBerry community that's here right now, we have been through a lot. We've been through the time when BBOS was huge, when we were the smartphone, when we were the status symbol, and then we've watched as we've watched as the company that we love was put up for sale, and we fought, and we were in the forums fighting the trolls, and we were out there pushing our brand to the people that we came across, and we're out there showing our phones to people that BlackBerry's still alive and they're not dead, and we fought the carriers. I mean, Chap got the Passport in a carrier basically on his own. Blackjack took on AT&T, and to this day it's one of our highest posts because of the amount of people that he got from the AT&T forums to come look at what he wrote on UTB. We were fighters, and it kills me today that what we're told is that, number one, Chin has said he's not abandoning his customers. He's not abandoning them. He understands that there's people that want BB10. He knows that they want to keep it, and they're still coming out with the next update. Now, I'm going to be realistic. If Android sells in the millions and the customers that they have say, yeah, let's switch to Android, there is really nothing in it for them to maintain BB10. But what if those customers, the important customers, the governments, the huge enterprise customers say, no, we want to keep BB10. He's not going to abandon them. He's not going to drop them for other customers. It's time for us to put on our big boy pants, stop crying, and fight again. We need to look at the customers that BlackBerry's has and make sure that we let them know what they have in a BB10 phone. And
wait a minute. You're actually telling me that I need to put on pants for this blogcast, and
I don't give a damn how many BB10 phones BlackBerry sells as long as they keep making it. If I know the Android phone is going to be a success, and if they end up sending 10 million of them and barely a million of BB10 phones, doesn't matter to me. I don't buy this. I don't buy my BB10 phones because I think they're going to be popular. I have them. They suit my needs. I love them. As long as he keeps making them, I don't give a damn how many he sells.
No, I know. I totally agree with you, man. If they only sold one a year and it was to me, I'd be good with that. Of course,
Exactly.
That's ridiculous. But
The problem is that there are a lot of people who don't think like that.
yeah, no, I know. I completely get that. I mean, and
that's why they use
partially it's not all about numbers. Partially, you know, it's about segment. You know, maybe you know this segment gets this, and that segment gets that. I really, 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 really like the idea that a handset made by BlackBerry is going to hopefully. Rumor suggests that is going to be picked up by the 4 largest American carriers. I really like that because that can't do anything but boost the brand and allow some funds to be at least associated with BlackBerry 10 development. So I absolutely love that. I don't have a problem with that. I'm a BlackBerry fan first, and very closely behind that, I'm a BlackBerry 10 fan. But these things are one and one too.
Who's echoing?
Hey,
No.
So Brad, I just want to say I appreciate everything you said, and all I was trying to say was that we need to fight just like you said, and I completely agree with you and respect that. But we also need to just be realistic that I think Chen, as a CEO, definitely has put BlackBerry 10 in a situation where he's willing to let it go if he has to in order to save the company. And I think that's where we are right now. And so it's not a situation where he's definitely going to let it go. I don't believe that. I believe that he wants to keep BlackBerry 10 because I personally believe that he's the type of guy that wants to save the company in its sort of a state that it was before he took it over. He wants to bring it back to prominence, and that means making handsets and making a mobile OS. But I think he's also really smart, and he, you know, if he has to let go of the operating system, he will. That's all the point I was trying to make. I don't want you guys to think that I...
But he's also said a few times that if he can't make money selling phones, he's going to not stop making phones. He said that. If he can't make money selling phones, he's just going to stop making them.
So your point being, doesn't matter whether it's BB10 or Android, it just doesn't matter.
No. Well, yes and no.
Well, I was talking to Bartron there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If I were in Chen's position, yeah. If I can keep the same customers with, let's say, an Android, it's not the point. From Chen's point of view, the whole point is just to keep the customers and grow the customer base. It doesn't matter what platform you got.
Right,
but
or which one
fan,
of my software options that I have, or you know, I mean, let's face it, like you said, you know, we're going to make money with handsets, or we're not.
Yeah,
and further to that, if we're not, and that's the last thing in the world I want. Further to that, it's all software all the time, 24/7, 365. Thank you very much.
But he's also said that he needs handsets to provide a turnkey solution for, you know, governments and that. So
no question, no question. If you want end-to-end, fully blown, best security today, because we have yet to see what anything else can do.
Yeah.
Today, it is BB10 on BES.
But the thing is, if he can't make money on handsets with BB10, then from his point of view, his best choice is to move to Android.
Yes,
if
that's what
he
he's
can
saying.
secure it. And
Right.
that's the big if. And I don't believe he can secure it quickly.
Well, I don't know.
It'll take
I mean,
a while.
you never know. Can you sign the hardware and the software together like BB10 does? Can you sign them?
Oh,
In other words, this piece of hardware cannot work with anything else but this particular piece of software, vice versa. If you can root it, you cannot be secure.
It's not just that, but you look at all. Can they fix all the security bugs in Android? You look at all the bugs that have come about.
Well, they're less than iOS.
But it's still a hell of a lot more than BB10. And that's the whole point. To secure it, you got to fix the design flaws.
I know.
The fact is,
2015, so far, I think there was 370 iOS vulnerabilities, and there was one BlackBerry.
But the fact is,
and I don't even know what Android was, but it'll be less.
The fact is, Google makes their money mining other people's data. It's Android is designed. Everything Google designs and develops is to mine your data.
That's the Google Play thing. It's not the OS. It's the Google Play thing.
And Google gives Android to the phone makers for free. It's royalty free. So if they take the
there's no such thing as free.
They're not actually making any money. In fact, Google pays Microsoft $1 billion a year for patents that are used in Android. Yeah. So if they don't charge the BlackBerry anything, then they got to make money off the data mining. And if BlackBerry is going to cut off the data mining, they're not making any money at all.
Right.
You kind of wonder what's in it for Google.
Right.
What does Google gain then?
People don't.
Which means it's all there.
I mean, here we go again on. And I mean, look, this is what's gotten BlackBerry in the position that they're in right now. People don't care. There's a few that do, and they bought 800,000 units last quarter.
That's right.
That's not enough to maintain a company. 800,000 units is not enough. That's who cares about their security.
Right.
And the rest of the people, they want their apps, they want their games, and I keep going back to it. It's like, yes, I want my security. You four want your security. 800,000 other people want their security. But the vast majority of people want something cool and fun. And at no point have we marketed BB10 as that. And it is. It can run circles around Android. It can run circles around iOS. There's nothing more efficient than it. I got a new laptop this week for the Blogcast, and I'm not using it right now because I can't figure it out. Yay me. And the one thing that I kept going back to is, I wish this was as easy as my BlackBerry. I haven't had a real full-blown computer in 2 years. I haven't needed one. I've had BlackBerry 10. And here I am getting it for these blogcasts, and what did I do? I discovered that the things that I hated about having a computer, I could completely replace with my BlackBerry on my computer. I have my BlackBerry email on my computer. I have my BBM on my computer. I have my texting on my computer, all through Blend. It's awesome. I turn on my computer, Blend pops up. I don't have to do anything. We've got the remote file access. I can have my entire music collection on my phone whenever I want. I don't want to keep it on there. I just grab what I want. There's all these amazing things BlackBerry 10 can do, but what do we keep marketing? What do we keep shouting about? Something that nobody cares about. Security. Look at our #1 apps out there, our most visited websites. Go pull up Alexa and look at our most visited websites. It's Google, it's Facebook. Our biggest apps are Instagram and Facebook. The things where people are giving away their security.
Yeah.
It's obvious that's not what people are concerned about. It's what enterprise is concerned about. It's what a few of us are concerned about. But when you look at it, and iOS is a joke for security. Current Android is a joke for security. Mm-hmm. Windows is a joke for security, and even got funnier as far as that humor goes with Windows 10. Do you have to be 100% secure, or do you just have to be the most secure?
I don't know. It's terrible. 10 years ago, or not 10 years ago, but 6 or 7 years ago, BlackBerry was the de facto standard. The head of the household, be it male or female would come home, and they'd have this BlackBerry in their hand, and the kids would go, wow, that is so cool. I can get my emails on this device, and I can go anywhere and do anything, and things have changed, of course, but the desire is still there to be able to do those things on an efficient device. And the thing that should be happening, but isn't yet, is to be able to do those things on a secure device. Why would you not want to do that on a secure device? Why would you not want to do that? Anybody that that thinks that they should just be on the wild, wild west of the internet on anything, on any device, is sadly lacking in logic, unfortunately. And it's maybe this device that will be able to secure some kind of indent into people's psyche on a from a consumer perspective. Where do you start?
Something huge has to happen, and I mean something ridiculously huge. You look in our most recent history. We had all the celebrities' naked pictures leaked because Apple didn't care. We have all of the American military's personnel files out in the open because of hacks. We have the Sony hack, and people don't care. They go, "Oh wow, that's terrible. Didn't affect me. Let's jump on Facebook. Let's jump on Instagram." It's horrifying. I'm telling you, I'm saying it right now. We have failed as a community of boosters by focusing on the security, because people don't understand what BlackBerry can do, because we're focusing on something that the general consumer doesn't care about. They've made it obvious they don't care about it.
A few podcasts ago, I mentioned what was it? I said the problem with the security is that consumers don't find out about it until after it's been fixed. So they read the headline, they see a shocking headline, such and such real bad security flaw. Then they read further below, it's been fixed a month ago, and they look and say, oh, okay, so we're fine. They see a tree, then they see another tree, and they don't realize they're in the forest. Say, okay, that's a one-time thing. It's not going to happen anymore. And another one comes out, okay, that's just a one-time thing. It's not going to happen anymore. They don't realize that it's a trend. They don't see a trend. One bug in iOS, okay, that's just one. Second, oh, that's a separate one. It's completely different. It's a trend, and people don't see that. They look, oh, it's been fixed, so we're fine. I can keep doing it. I don't have to change products or anything. We're good. And as long as that happens, they really don't have any reason to bitch about it.
Mm-hmm. But when we had BBOS, we had a secure device that was efficient, and we loved it. I loved it. But we know it was rather boring. I had an iPod during my later years of BBOS because I wanted the fun stuff. And I had the iPod, and I had different little Android tablets throughout the time. And BB10 came along, and it was amazing. As far as the media goes, as far as the internet browser, nothing beats that BlackBerry internet browser on mobile. The Safari browser, the Google Chrome, they're terrible. They're terrible. And the BlackBerry 10 browser is great. But we don't focus on that. And then about the time of 10.2.1, when we started being able to load the Android apps directly without converting them to bar, then we had the apps. I look at what I can do on my phone. I'm surrounded by iPhone users. I'm surrounded by Samsung users. And I look at what I can do quickly and easily, and I'm not talking about business, I'm talking about games, I'm talking about media. I'm huge into, I listen to lots of podcasts, I listen to lots of music, I surf the net entirely too much. I don't tweet much, but I'm on Twitter all day. You know, it's like all this stuff that I do easily. I do it faster than they do, and I can do all this at once. I can be in the middle of a YouTube video and flip over and answer a message and continue to listen to it. Those guys can't do that. And when they see something like that, they get what Bigley likes to point out as the BlackBerry stare.
Yeah, the look. Yeah.
I can sit there and I can tell them I'm secure. Nobody's going to steal my identity. I'm way more secure than you are. And they're like, oh, okay, good. I'm happy for you. But the minute you're sitting there showing them a video and it's like a message pops up across my screen and I answer it in front of them while they're watching me do it and while they're still watching the video, they get that window licker look on their face. You know, it's like, how did you do that? That's what we need to be focusing on, and that's...
Yeah. It is the operating system that is pretty much head and shoulders above.
Head, shoulders, and torso above the rest of them. And are we going to get
above
that?
The other things that are available?
Well, lately, inside BlackBerry blog, what was his name? Ryan... I forget his Blundell, maybe? I don't remember his name. He's actually been posting a few things. One was on streaming video to your TV or your home theater. One was on, I think, photo editing. One was on music apps. So that started, what, about a month or two ago? So I don't know. It looks to me like they are pushing some consumer type stuff again, and that's why I predicted that they would. The real push for consumer in the consumer space is going to happen when they release a slider. But I agree with everything you guys say. It's all these unsung hero features like the share and all the multitasking and that.
Oh yeah, share.
Nobody speaks of it. You know, share. I use that. That's a godsend. That thing, that feature. It's just awesome.
The BlackBerry Share is the most amazing thing on any mobile device out there. We're living in a social media age, and our share function is amazing. And it doesn't, you know, it's like, ooh, I get to share stuff. But you share anything, anywhere. You know, you can have, and I've done it before, you can have 3 or 4 instances of BBM on your screen because you've been sharing from your browser and from your music and from blah, blah, blah. And you've got, before you know it, you've got 4 different instances of BBM or something else, you know, and they're running perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done 4 BBM things going on all at the same time through 4 different apps. It's absolutely stunning.
I only have a few comments to add to what you guys have been talking about.
No, James, you can't. No, go ahead.
Marketing. Marketing often, well, first of all, you have, in the sales and marketing cycle, you have a buyer who recognizes needs that they have. But then you also have a seller who tries to set the tone for what the buyer's needs are. So, you know, Apple has been very good at saying, you know, you guys need this and you guys need that. And I think, Brad, what you've been talking about is sort of why isn't BlackBerry, or maybe why aren't we as a website, I don't know exactly whether it's one or both that you're talking about, investing in, you know, sort of highlighting some of the things that are not, you know, traditional business or security related, and I get that, and I think that's of value. But I think Chen did not invest in that because it wasn't the right time, and unfortunately the hole that BlackBerry had dug themselves into was so deep that it you know, wouldn't have been appropriate to spend those dollars in that way yet, and he has instead spent them on, you know, acquisitions and patent and things of that nature to build up the the value that BlackBerry can offer to the enterprise in terms of mobile security and productivity solutions, which I think he said very clearly is his focus. But Brad, if you think that UTB, if that's what you're saying, that we need to be more vocal about some of the traditional BlackBerry things that BB10 does really well, I agree with you. I think that would be very valuable, for sure. And the one other comment I want to make is the only point I was trying to make earlier is just that BB10 is on the chopping block, but I don't think it's a done deal. I just think we have to accept that it's a hit or miss thing right now. That if we can't figure out a way to get some hearts and minds invested in BB10, that we're going to lose it. And hopefully we can, and hopefully Chen can. But I also want to add that we have to think of our relationship with the BlackBerry brand as what do I, for instance, when I think about why I bought my first BlackBerry, I know this is going to sound really stupid and silly, but I bought my first BlackBerry because I had a Palm Pilot at the time, and they stopped offering their desktop OS, so I couldn't sync my phone with a desktop OS, which I trusted. And they said you have to sync with the cloud, and I didn't like the cloud. And that at the time, my understanding of iOS was you had to sync with the cloud. And so BlackBerry was the only other operating system that allowed you to sync with a desktop thing, and it was encrypted or whatever, and it was secure. And I keep notes for a book that I've been writing for a long time on my device. So my device, the security of my physical device, when I set it down, if Brad wants to be a jerk and pick it up and try to find out what's on there, he's going to have a hell of a time. So that's the other reason. So for me, that's like the core reason is security. And I know I'm probably not like everyone else. And I did suffer for a little while when Apple had a better web browser. And I know this is going back when I was on BBOS. Apple had a better web browser. They had a big screen. They had more apps, etc. But I lost my train of thought a little bit. But I think that we just need to accept that things are changing a little bit. That we need to look at what we want from BlackBerry as a company. I want the security and the productivity, okay? And if they can do that with Android operating system, and it doesn't say BB10 or it is 10, then so be it. So those are the 2 points I had earlier.
I agree with you, James. I mean, I'm being realistic. I can see. I mean, I keep hearing people say read between the lines and the writing's on the wall. I can see that. I can see it. But my point is, those of us that are here right now, not many of us, obviously, but those of us that are here right now, we're battle hardened. We've been through a lot. Those forums that we used to frequent, nobody withstands that kind of abuse on a daily basis on purpose, and we did. And a lot more people than us did. And, I mean, I just see all of these veterans that we should be jumping up and getting back into the fight, and I'm seeing a lot of people just caving in. And it's like, why? I really think we were in a worse position before. When BlackBerry was for sale,
Yeah.
I think that was the worst position we could have been in. And I think it was a way worse position than we're in right now. That there could very well be an endpoint for BlackBerry 10, and it depends on the primary customers. Are they going to willingly jump over to the new BlackBerry Android, or are they not? And that gives us a point of attack. It gives us something that we should be fighting for. I don't want to lose BlackBerry 10. I want the Android BlackBerry to sell millions. I want it to pull BlackBerry out of the hole. If there's an Android user that wants Android, I want them to buy from BlackBerry. I don't want them to buy from Samsung. I don't want them to buy from HTC. So I want nothing but the best for that Android BlackBerry. But I don't want to lose BB10, and I'm going to fight for it. And the people that are rolling over right now, come on, grow up. You didn't get what you wanted.
Brad, I think Chen is 100% right where you are. I personally humbly believe my read on that man is he wants BlackBerry 10. He wants BlackBerry to succeed with devices and with a mobile OS that's all BlackBerry. And he does not want to have to let that go. And I think that the next couple of years are going to be really critical to determine whether or not that happens.
And we know he uses BlackBerry 10. Did you see him with the slider on the video?
He's trying to slide up with his thumb.
He kept trying to swipe. So you know he's not using that Android right now.
I love the gestures, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's face it. John, Chen, I love you. But don't demo, the Priv. My buddy sent me a message, and it was, it's the Priv. Is it the Priv?
Yeah.
The Priv?
No,
I don't think so.
Priv.
I think it's the Priv.
Not the best team.
No.
No, dude.
But you never know.
And John, get somebody else to demo your phone, because I love you, but that wasn't it. Let me do it. I don't know. I'll do it. Something.
The hardware's there. What would it? I mean, realistically, what would it take to get a run of that slider? I don't want to call it the Priv. What would it take to get a run?
I know you don't. That's what's so funny. Whatever.
But how much would it take to get one of those in BlackBerry 10? I mean, we mentioned earlier today we did the thunderclap before UTB ever started for I Choose BlackBerry 10. How loud would we have to be to get a small production run? And I'm talking we sold 800,000 units. Not we, but they did.
You are insinuating.
Oh no, I read that they are releasing.
You're insinuating that they haven't done it already.
I read that they are going to be releasing the slider in BB10 version.
No, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was black and white. I think it was said today. I wish I could remember where, but it's not.
No, I read it. I'll try and track down.
What you're insinuating is that it's not a production thing. What I'm insinuating is that they've already tried that, and that it already exists. It's internal.
Oh yeah, the first flash of the who was the guy that showed it? Black and white in his hand. That was, I believe that was BB10 at that time.
I think that was ahead of the handset.
What would it take to get like a 200,000 production run of it? You know how many people would be happy with that? How many of our community would?
200,000.
Yeah, I guarantee.
If that was the run, I'd sign you up.
It would be 200,000 units sold right there.
I'd buy it.
Wait, Brad, what does it cost to? I mean, you already, once you have the OS, you have the OS, so you have it's the chipset. The chipset's the same, right? Everything is the same. It's just a matter of sometime at the last minute of production, you install a certain BIOS and a certain OS. Is that the way am I making too simple? It doesn't seem to me to be a big deal. If he has BB10, he could put it on there if he wanted.
Yeah, it depends on what your willingness is. It depends on where your goal is. I mean, you can't just. You can plop it on anything. Why not? But the deal is, how are you going to support it? If you're going to support it, then you have lots of things to deal with. Absolutely. And they are long-term.
Okay, so it's not a matter of money in production, it's a matter of support after the sale.
Yes, it is. Anything's possible. It's what you want to do with it later.
Well, the death of BlackBerry 10, if it were to happen, is not something that's going to happen in the immediate future. It's not.
No, at the absolute.
3 to 5 years. 3
yeah,
to 5.
that's right. Yeah, 3 to 5. That's right. And I don't subscribe to it, but that's the today's possibility. I don't subscribe to it at all. I'm a huge fan. I want it to continue. I will, you know, I will go to the lengths. But you know, if today were the day, then it would be 3 to 5. Yes.
But I think we have that amount of time collectively, fans, Chen, whatever, to highlight some of the advantages and try and develop some interest in BlackBerry 10.
We have that amount of time if people are willing to do it. I'm seeing people rolling over. I'm seeing the people that the trolls, and we four know who I'm talking about because we watched it today on Twitter as they were gloating about this, and you know, it's as they speak as if they're part of our community, and as they gloat about every aspect that the rest of us saw as a negative today. It's time to boot them. You know, they were glad that they changed because of this, like they knew this was happening a year ago. So sick of these guys. You know what? Get out and let those of us that care work on it. And the rest of the community needs to get behind the ones that care. You know, and I'm not just saying us. I'm talking there's others out there. I mean, there's tons of regional sites. Tons. We know them. We had a. It's killing me that I'm drawing a blank right here, but there's lots of sites out there that want our BB10, that are true fans. It's time for people to get behind those and make our voices heard.
Well, that is possible, and we can do it. The alternate locations, shall I call them, that have shifted their focus, use it as a sensationalist point of view, which is unfortunate. But I do, like Brad is saying, you know, appeal to the people that are interested in BlackBerry 10 as an operating system, which I think, and probably you do, or hopefully you do, is a superior operating system. Would probably subscribe to you know, furthering that as opposed to abandoning it. So hopefully we can come up with some things over the next week or two and in the ongoing months that everybody can rally to. Yeah. I'm that guy. I want BB10 to further. As far as I'm concerned, it is seriously the best mobile operating system available. Actually, if it was available on my desktop, I'd love that too. Let's go.
Okay, the article where I read that claimed that the slider will run BlackBerry 10, it was on CBC and they corrected. It says here, BlackBerry's smartphone will only run Android and will not, as this article reported earlier, have the option to choose the BB10 operating system instead. Okay, so I'm not buying that.
Well, like I said, maybe...
I'm happy because at least now it's settled and my decision's made. Great, I can move on to something else.
Like I said in my our last blogcast, you know, if it ran Android today and had a BB10 option later, I'd buy it. And It may be that, it may be that things change in that regard, but the most important thing to me is efficiency, security, and the ability for me to perform my work tasks the best that I can. Right now, that's BB10. And if they can work that into something else, I'm going to look at it. I will look at it. Right now, I'm a BB10 guy. Right now.
You know,
But Dave,
go ahead, James.
well, Dave, you're a BlackBerry guy, though. I mean,
I am.
You say you're a BB10 guy, but you know what? You're a BlackBerry guy.
I am.
I mean, you see these bullets. When you see the bullets on your phone, that means something to you. And what does it mean to you? It was just what you just said. To me, it means something very similar, maybe to the UTB folks, Brad, Ian, some of the other folks that write for us. It means this very same thing. Maybe we are a subset of the overall consumer marketplace, and we're not we're not representative of the overall consumer space as much as we are maybe the enterprise space. I don't know, but all I'm trying to say is, I know, Dave, you have faith in Chen, and I know if Chen said to you, Dave, this phone it's just as secure, or it's basically as secure, and it's going to offer you the same productivity, etc., as the other phone that we offered a little while ago, but it's running Android, you would probably say, okay, well, you know what? If you say that, I could probably deal with it. Now, maybe when I swipe up from the bottom and to the right, I'm not going to go right to the hub. Maybe I have to push a button instead. Maybe that sucks a little bit. But all I'm saying is the company's going to survive, and we got to deal with a couple of minor those kinds of things, but yet we still get some of the basic value that we've always wanted. We all win.
I agree, James. I'm a BlackBerry guy. I'm watching a lot of the conversation going on in our group today, and there's one person who made it perfectly clear that he's not a BlackBerry fan. He's a BB10 fan, and he was also the last one of us to get onto BB10.
I am a BlackBerry fan. I am a BlackBerry fan. But
I just had to throw that out. Blackjack forever.
But if BlackBerry dropped BlackBerry 10, I'd switch to a dumb phone.
Well, but
I'll still be a BlackBerry fan.
You'll say switch to a dumb phone, but I'm seeing people in our community that's saying that's it. I can't believe BlackBerry's going Android. I'm buying a Nexus.
Yeah.
What's the? I don't understand the mentality there. For one,
Me neither.
I have no intention of buying the slider. And the reason I won't buy the slider is because my BlackBerry 10 phone is still supported, and there's other BlackBerry 10 phones out there I want. I'll get the SE before I get the slider. Now, if BlackBerry 10 were to actually go away, and when and if that happens, I will buy a BlackBerry. If it's running Android or if it's running some new OS that we haven't thought of yet, I'll still be carrying a BlackBerry. I have no doubt in my mind. There's more to the phone than just the OS. And I mean, really, for those of us that have been around for a while, there's also the community behind it, which is changing a lot right now. But the community is a big draw for me. I like it. I like being a BlackBerry user.
Well, I like being a BlackBerry user too, because that's how I met you, Brad.
That's a little weird.
You know, these things need a little bit of comedy, and sometimes I don't provide it. Whatever.
But you try, Dave.
Yeah, whatever.
Usually you do, though, man.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, but you're like the king of the pun. You.
Oh, fantastic, yeah.
You know what? There's a group of about 40 of us now that we speak to each other every single day. I've got family members I don't speak to that much. And then there's readers that I speak to every single day. And that didn't come from BB10. That came from BlackBerry. You know, everything that we're here right now came from BlackBerry, and it's fun. It's fun for me. You know, UTB isn't out there making a ton of money, but we're having fun, and I'm going to continue doing that. And you know, if somebody wants to say I'm not a BlackBerry fan, I'm a BB10 fan, well, I hope they have as much fun over in Apple land.
Well, it's all good. I mean, go ahead, James.
Well, I'm sorry, Dave. You got to forgive some people. It's tough transition, Brad. I mean, we don't know for a fact that the transition is going to be forced upon us. As we said, it's you know, it's going to happen in the next several years. The truth, you know, what will happen will happen. But you know, some folks, I mean, they're attached to their idea of what BlackBerry is, and you know, it is what it is, man. I mean, but you know, I think all your points are very well made, and I think about the community, and I think it's one of the you know, how they say there's a silver lining for every dark cloud. I think it's a silver lining that has happened for us that, you know, we have, you know, to greater or lesser extent, maybe not all of us as much as you personally, Brad, but we've all been in the situation where we've been the lone voice in the room trying to advocate for BlackBerry. And, you know, so, you know, over the last several years, it's been tough. And I think, you know, it brings us together a little bit closer. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think, you know, if however, I think it's a, you know, a funny paradox, but if BlackBerry was #1 and there was millions and millions and millions and, you know, everyone was, you know, #1 for BlackBerry, it probably wouldn't be quite as, you know, we wouldn't have the esprit de corps that we have. And so it is what it is. But
yeah, we wouldn't be here right now if BlackBerry was #1, and I mean, we wouldn't be here right now. We'd be enjoying our phones, but I bet you most of us would have never come in contact with each other.
that's true.
I disagree because the other site would still be flooded with trolls and totally moderated, which is the whole reason why we're here instead of over there.
Which is why you have orange glasses.
Amber.
Wow.
Amber, is it?
They are not orange, Dave.
Well, look, it was just an observation, okay?
If BlackBerry dropped BlackBerry 10, I'd still invest in the company. I'm still a fan of BlackBerry. I just don't like Android or iOS, and I don't trust them. So that's it. I'll switch to a dumb phone, but I mean, I'd still invest in BlackBerry. I'd still be a fan. I'm not sure how someone can be a fan of BB10 and not BlackBerry. How can you like a product hate the company that makes it?
I think James hit the nail on the head. There are emotional responses going on right now, and
oh, big time.
I mean, yeah, I think every one of us that was in our group conversation today hit all of those emotional responses. But
which is why I avoided the group today, and why I avoided the Samsung rumors for the most part, and the first rumors of the Android, the BlackBerry Android, and yeah.
I don't know. I think Bartron, someone needs to send you a hug.
Sounds like Bartron is smart.
I think Dave needs to buy a Volkswagen van and just travel around giving all of his hugs.
Hey, man, based on what Volkswagen's been going through over the last couple of days, I don't think so.
Stock dropped 34%.
I'm not investing in Volkswagen, but I will buy some BlackBerry shares. Absolutely.
Volkswagen owns everybody. They own Bugatti and they own everybody, man.
But it just doesn't matter, man. Look what they did.
One thing I noticed, I was looking today at the level of short shares in BlackBerry, and it's actually been dropping since July.
Yeah.
We're at a peak of 105 million, and it's gone down to 91 since the middle, as of the middle of September. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens now.
I just think that there is tremendous value in the company that is, you know, latent value that won't be realized for some time. But, you know, QNX, Bez, the patents, the relationships with you know, the Fortune 500 or whatever with Bez, you know, and MDM, just install in that install base. There's just a lot of value in there, and it's impossible to believe. Oh, and QNX in the future and IoT, it's impossible to believe that the company won't turn around. To me, anyway, personally, and I'm not an analyst, so, but you know, and especially at $6. If you're going to look at it as a speculator and wonder if $6 a share is a good price or whatever they closed at today, that's ridiculous. I mean, the company's definitely going to outperform that kind of price. It's
today Chen said 15 wasn't enough. I think it was with the interview with Emily, or was it the B&N ones? He was asked about selling a company. He says no, and he mentioned the price. He said, you know, $15 a share is not enough.
Yeah, that was one of the B&N ones.
Yeah. Okay.
It is so stupidly not enough.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, information notwithstanding, there's a pile of people on this planet for known or unknown reasons that wish the company doom, and I don't understand it. I can only think that they bought at 140 and don't like it now. Or I really don't get it. I don't get the shorts. It just,
they're not getting late enough, and they're taking out the frustration on BlackBerry.
Yeah, you know what? Of all of the explanations that I have heard over the last 3 years, Bartron, you win.
You know what? Let's shut it down on a win.
Yeah.
We've gone a little long, and that's a great place to shut it down for tonight.
I like it.
All right, that will be our tagline. You're not getting laid enough, so.
Yeah.
We'll say that to every hater. All the BlackBerry haters, you know, you're just not getting laid enough. Get over it.
have sex and buy BlackBerry.
Yeah, and I went through this whole blogcast without saying shit.
Ah, Dave!
No!
Dave! You
All
son
right,
of a
guys.
gun.
Let's call it, say, you want to get laid, buy yourself a BB phone. And good night.
All right, see you guys.
Good night, everybody.
See you, dudes.